My name is Anna Carter, and the story I'm about to share changed everything I thought I knew about life, death, and what lies beyond. If someone had told me a few years ago about near-death experiences or visions of the afterlife, I would have smiled politely but remained skeptical. But in late November of 2023, something happened that transformed my life forever. It was an ordinary day, the kind of day you don't realize is special until it's gone. I spent the afternoon with my niece and nephew, Grace and Ben, baking cookies for their school fundraiser. Ben, at 8, is a ball of energy, and Grace, at 10, has this wisdom beyond her years that never ceases to amaze me. We made a mess of the kitchen, laughed until our sides hurt, and spilled more flour than we used. It was one of those perfect moments you wish you could hold on to forever. Later that evening, I was driving home, replaying the joy of the day in my mind. The air was crisp, and soft rain began to patter on the windshield. The heater hummed, and everything felt peaceful. I was about 15 minutes from home when I started feeling strange. A weight settled in my chest, not pain exactly, but an oppressive heaviness I couldn't ignore. I brushed it off as exhaustion or maybe anxiety. But the sensation grew stronger, and then, without warning, a searing pain shot through me. I gasped for air, gripping the steering wheel, trying to pull over, but before I could, everything went dark. The next thing I remember was an overwhelming sense of stillness. It wasn't silence, but a complete absence of the noise and chaos we're so used to. I realized with startling clarity that I wasn't in my body anymore. Strangely, it wasn't frightening, it was freeing. There was no pain, no fear, no confusion, just a peace so profound it felt as if I had stepped out of a shadow and into the light. I became aware of my surroundings, though they weren't like anything I'd ever seen. The space felt endless yet intimate, pulsating with life and light. It wasn't harsh or blinding, but warm, like the gentle glow of 1,000 candles. The colors around me were indescribable, richer, deeper, and more vibrant than anything on earth. And the love, it was everywhere. It wrapped around me, filling every part of me with a completeness I didn't know I was missing. As I took it all in, I heard a voice. It wasn't loud, but it was powerful, gentle, and commanding all at once, a voice that seemed to speak directly to my soul. It said my name, Anna. Just that. But in a way that carried more love and understanding than I'd ever experienced. I turned, or at least I think I did, and saw a figure. At first, it was just light, but as my eyes adjusted, I realized it was an angel. Not the kind you see in storybooks or paintings. This being was magnificent, radiant, and strong, as if it carried the weight of heaven itself. Its eyes were like galaxies, infinite and full of knowledge. The angel spoke again, saying, "Do not be afraid. The Lord has sent me to show you what is to come." Before I could respond, we were moving, not walking or flying, but simply moving through what felt like a tunnel of light. It was exhilarating, not frightening, like being carried on the wind. Then, suddenly, we stopped. The first thing I saw was the earth, but not as I'd ever seen it before. It was as if I were looking down from above, but I could see more than just the surface. A darkness was spreading over the planet, thick and heavy, like a storm cloud. It was unsettling, but then I noticed points of light scattered across the globe, small but radiant, piercing through the darkness. I asked the angel, "What are those lights?" "They are the prayers of God's people," the angel replied. "They push back the darkness, even when it seems overwhelming." I felt hope, but the angel showed me more. I saw churches filled with people, but many were spiritually asleep. Their lips moved in prayer, but their hearts were disengaged, distracted, and distant. It was heartbreaking to watch. Yet, in the midst of this, I saw a spark, a flame igniting in small groups, in homes, and in quiet corners of the world. People were waking up, truly seeking God. Their prayers grew brighter and brighter, pushing back the darkness. A great awakening is coming, the angel said, but it will not be like anything you have seen before. It will not be confined to buildings or led by famous names. It will be in the hearts of those who truly seek the Lord. Then the angel showed me something deeply unsettling. I saw people who thought they were followers of Christ, but had been deceived. They knew the right words, attended the right services, but their hearts had never truly surrendered. The angel's voice was firm yet sorrowful. It is not enough to know about him. They must know him. Suddenly, the scene shifted, and I saw a massive clock. It wasn't like any clock I'd seen before. Its numbers were events, wars, natural disasters, technological advancements. Each event fit perfectly, like pieces of a divine puzzle. I realized I was seeing how everything was unfolding according to God's plan. The angel said, "The time is short. Tell them to prepare." Next, I saw a wave of deception sweeping across the world. It started subtly, with small compromises and distortions of truth, but it grew stronger and more pervasive. People who had once stood firm in their faith were being led astray because they didn't recognize the lies. Yet, amidst this, there were those who stood unwavering, marked and sealed with the Holy Spirit. Their light shone brightly, and the darkness could not overcome it. The angel then revealed ordinary people being used by God in extraordinary ways. A teacher whose love transformed her students, a nurse who prayed silently over her patients, a business owner who made decisions guided by heavenly wisdom. These weren't famous preachers or evangelists, they were everyday people carrying God's presence into their daily lives. Finally, the angel spoke again, saying, "Tell them to stay close to Jesus. The time is short." The next thing I knew, I was back in my body. I woke up in a hospital room, surrounded by beeping machines and worried faces. The doctors told me I had been clinically dead for nearly 10 minutes. They couldn't explain my recovery, no brain damage, no lasting effects. But I knew why. God wasn't finished with me yet. Since that night, my life has completely changed. There's an urgency in my heart, not to scare people, but to wake them up to the reality of what's coming. Jesus is coming back. And the question we all need to ask ourselves is this: will we be ready? I'm sharing this because it's not just my story, it's a message for all of us. Stay close to Him. Seek Him with everything you have. Don't wait. The time is now.